welcome to yet another interesting episode of Professional Biography. For today's program, I have with me a leading veteran in the oil and gas industry. He has, with over 26 years of experience in ConocoPhillips, Mr. Buamim has key leadership positions, including Vice President of UAE subsidiary. He was also the President and CEO of the Regional Clean Sea Organization, the Gulf Oil Industry Environmental Organization. He also chairs several maritime industry organizations, including the Dubai Council for Marine and Maritime Industries, the Arab Association of Petroleum Professionals, and the Federal Committee to update the UAE Maritime Law. A member of Dubai's Crisis and Disasters Management Team, he is also an advisor to several government transportation and energy organizations. He has also received numerous honors, including Tanker Shipping and Trade Top 20 Personalities, the Maritime Standard Hall of Fame, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Business Award, and the Lloyd's List, London's Outstanding Lifetime Achievement Award. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome His Excellency Khamis Juma Buamim, the Chairman and Group CEO of KBI-uae. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
For your first question, His Excellency, can you brief us about your early life, your parents, the school you went to, the college? How was it like?
You've taken me a little back in history.
Yes.
Now, I'm born in Jumeirah, Dubai. And since then, my childhood, most, if not all of it, is in Jumeirah. And then I went to the first school, was Al Maktoum School in Jumeirah, where I had my primary school, and then I went for my secondary education to another school called Jamal Abdel Nasser, a school in Dubai. And after that, I took off to the United Kingdom, where I did my graduation there for my bachelor degree. And I must admit, I've been in many ways blessed with a good family. I had a good standing, community-wise, personal-wise, and the society, as you know, in the olden days, Jumeirah was not as you see it today. It used to be a segmented little towns and so on. Today I live, I lived in this place where I am today with you all the rest of my life, and now I have Burj Al Arab only next door to me. So that tells you the transformation that happened around in Jumeirah, and where Mammoth project has taken place on the coastline of Jumeirah, from if you look from Dry Dock World all the way to Jabal Ali ports. So it's we've seen a lot of transformation, a lot of very, very positive change. And no doubt we have witnessed where our own town, Jumeirah, becoming one of the most sorted out towns in the whole of the UAE. And that makes you feel good, because at least as things develop, as society grew, as Dubai is in many ways, historically, not today, many people don't know this, but Dubai has been cosmopolitan from the start.
Yes.
From history. And
Yes.
We had, but the add-on, of course, that maybe we had 60 nationality. Today we have 100 and God knows how many, which is a great, testimony to Dubai growth, to Dubai induction of all the people that came and stayed, and some of them came and did a hell of a job, and maybe they are in a different place. But nevertheless, we don't forget a lot of our good friends who's been with us throughout the transformation of our city, the UAE for that matter, the Gulf also. And we've been very, very, it's a great experience. You had to live it to understand the transformation part and the change. And I must admit, all changes has been exceptionally good. None of them has been bad, and none of them has been negative in any way. In fact, the many difficult times when people faced a lot of stuff, we were in a better shape than many places and around the world. And this indicates to you the integration that happened. And I must admire the society as a whole, be it UAE citizen or our foreigners who came here or who are living or part of the society came and gone. But nevertheless, everything was perfect. This is my history in reality, and I love it. And I always look back at it as being a solid core of my growth and transformation too.
That is true, sir. Dubai is definitely a country where all nationalities come together. We can see a lot
Absolutely.
of people, and
Absolutely. Yeah.
it's a very welcoming country as well, when all the people are living together with in peace, and every culture is being accepted as it is. So
Yeah. I think that's the most important thing is we have a good peaceful environment that
yes,
created opportunities and many people indulge into a great growth cycle.
definitely. So
Definitely.
how did you come into the maritime industry, or perhaps the oil and gas industry as such?
When I was studying in the UK, a part of my study was I had a scholarship from which is ADNOC. And at that time, we were studying different, from engineering to management to business. And I elected to go for business management and economy. And it was important for me because that was part of the realization of the what to be of the UAE, if I must admit, as UAE grow and a new dimension of growth happened. We were at the forehead of looking ahead and what to be, and that's where it's all started. Then I joined, of course, after graduation. I continued to work in the oil industry. Part of it is Dubai Petroleum. And at that time, also part of that transformation was the services side, where part of it offshore and all the logistics of a petroleum organization. And as I grew in the organization and became part of the international team, which is the executive team, we had a lot of opportunity to see many places around the world and induct ourselves into too many different sectors within the industry itself. And of course, as you know, when you work in the oil industry, almost like you touch everything from the specific finance side to it, to the shipping side, to the logistics side, to the services side, and you keep evolving. And the human factor became the most critical thing, and that was very, very important because we had to think ahead of how the human factor becomes an important part of the whole organization. And we went through a lot of transformation at that time. And specifically, I remember we had to, restructure Conoco from being Conoco itself, Continental Oil, to ConocoPhillips. And because there was in many ways, joined forces to become as one company. And we had Globex at that time, where we had to do a lot of work regarding how to integrate two organizations together. And that was a huge learning and a huge knowledge sharing and a huge, in many ways, acceptance that things are changing to the better. And we had to make it that way. But we looked at it, it's a global. So you could touch from USA all the way to China. It's
Yeah.
almost the whole world. And ConocoPhillips, of course, existed everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was quite an experience.
Okay.
Quite an experience.
So, sir, after Phillips, you had a stint at various other organizations in the leadership positions. So, can you take us through those transitions and how did arrive at the current position?
Yeah, well, at a stage, I led the regional Clean Sea organization, which is the oil and gas, environment, offshore environment, or clean sea environment. And at that time, we were looking at building a strategic regional hub for protecting the seas from any potential oil or petrochemical or other pollution. And that was quite an experience because in many ways, most, if not all, the oil companies in the region were joined together to create quite an impressive organization where we learned a lot, we trained a lot, we integrated a lot, we built long-term strategies, and we built also what we classify it as one system of risk management.
Okay.
So we were in, anytime there may be a problem or something, you will find most, if not all, these companies come together to structure a potential how to resolve this problem and how to mitigate and of course defend the border, especially when it comes to certain installations such as water desalination, intakes for, let's say, industry and all this. These are critical part of what we had to do or manage. And that was an impressive, I must admit, structure which we built. And we had a long whole processes which include the training, joint forces and everything. And all the emergency and crisis management response systems from the Oman Sea all the way to Basra, and we were very much in control of the seas of our part of the world. After that, I continued to be, in a large advisory board with certain oil company, which include Conoco and others. But at a stage where in 2009, I was called back by the government because of as you may know, the 2008-2009 financial crisis. That was quite a new things for me because it was, here we go again, where you have to look at how you turn around the organization, redefine it, restructure it, regrow it. And it was an interesting thing because as part of the Dubai World conglomerate, we were in the management of everything. And at the same time, we had sectorial responsibility. And so my sectorial responsibility was over dry dock world and maritime world.
Okay.
And I was the chairman and then managed to turn the ship around. We had businesses in the UAE and in the Far East and Indonesia, in Singapore. And that was an experience of a lifetime because I really enjoyed every minute of it because it was the learning curve was really high.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we managed during that time, many people may not know, we, during almost 5 years, we managed to do 7 of the first and largest projects in the world.
Wow.
And imagine an organization's going through a restructuring and suddenly becomes a mammoth.
Yes.
In its, so we had, a very strong transformation process. I remember we I had to build a totally new strategy, move away from ship repair to fabrication and offshore and every aspect of what will bring money. You needed money. You needed to convince everybody that you'll pay them back.
Oh,
Uh, and accordingly, there was a huge success. We built and or converted many projects for USA, UK, Germany, Italy, Russia, Australia, and every project in itself had its own what I would call it world record structures.
oh,
You imagine you're doing this mammoth project, the first ever. Nobody will even imagine that you will
exactly.
do it in Dubai, but we did it, and we managed. We have the largest and the best project we ever undertaken still under in the world, and we did it from A to Z. We did not do part and other. No, actually, we completed. So it was a transformation of course, dry dock world, and that way we managed to save dry dock world and also amend the potential. And of course, life goes on. Then I moved after the restructuring, of course, and these successes. At a later stage in 2000 and late 15, I had to move out because of many different reasons. One of them is I wanted to relax a little bit. I've been life cannot be always run, run, run. So we actually created I joined another enterprise which was in trouble called Gulf Navigation.
Yeah.
And it's a shipping company, which we also did a good job. We turned it around. We managed to salvage it from total bankruptcy processes to a better shape. And here we go. And in today's environment, we have the council, we have the International Petroleum Association, part of quite a number of important groups, I must admit. But most of all, one of them is, which I always admire, is the think tank, a global think tank, which I
Yeah.
am in. And I'm spending a lot of time with that because that in itself is a great thing because it's a private enterprise. It has nothing to do with any grouping or any, but we are, I must admit, we managed to do a lot of thought processes for what to be. And we are at the forefront at this moment of looking into different industries and how that will transform.
Okay. That's a lot of ups and downs in career, but
Absolutely. But it was
it must
a,
be.
go
Sorry,
ahead.
saying. I was saying that it must be very, every wave, you had your ups and you had your downs, but it must be very interesting to solve all those issues and challenges and come out very successful out of it.
Yeah, it's true because once you finished the what you are doing, you just I don't like when I go to the office and I have no problems. Just sit around doing nothing. I started looking at my nails and all this for a change. They used to grow and I don't know why, but once you start looking at your nails and trying to cut them and cleaning them and all this, that means you did your job. You might as well move on. You know.
True, sir. So, can you tell us more about KBI-uae and your role in that particular organization?
This is an enterprise that we decided to create for different reasons. One of them, of course, as you know, the FDI processes, for foreign direct investment process. And the second for the oil and gas, energy, and of course, it has many different sectors. But the most critical part for us is the navigation, shipping, logistics, oil and gas services. And we are in many ways also thinking into the smart cities and clustering process, and also in the water desalination. As uh, I might as well tell you, soon you will be paying for every uh, gallon of water you take from the sea to desal.
Oh,
That's what's coming. So
okay.
you get ready for a disastrous. But these are the. But anyway, in that case we actually established we had an interesting team where we looked at the oil industry, systems and everything, and we transformed oil industry technology into urban development technology, and therefore to mitigate. Part of it is water desalination, coastal water desalination, how to eliminate it, but not make, a critical part of it is how to make it compatible environmentally and also zero impact to the environment. And we got IPs on this, and we've been working on it very, very hard. But that is going to be the limelight of what to be. The second part of it, of course, these structures are multi, whether we call it, it can be used for all, not only water desalination, but it could be a hotel, it could be conference halls, it could be anything you want. So it's multi-activity within a structure. And that's quite an impressive thought where technology exists. All you need to think about how do I transform it from oil-based to urban-based, and I think we managed to do that. So we are very, very happy to hear, especially the past few years, we've been working diligently on that, diligently. And we have, of course, the shipping sector, which also we do quite a bit of shipping. And we are increasing our shipping models with regard to ship management or, for that matter, different segment of the shipping industry.
Oh, that sounds quite interesting.
Yes.
Indeed. So how do you envision the future of the maritime industry in Dubai, especially considering the advancements of technology and the sustainability practices?
You see, many people, they take technology as it's gonna make things
Disrupt.
totally something else.
Yes.
Technology is part of the growth. Technology existed. In today's environment, I hear a lot of people talking about the EV car and all of this. And I get shocked if they know what EV car existed from the 50s. It's not a today's process. But the media and the way they project things, it makes you think, wow, here. But the reality of the matter, for every industry, for every way of energy mix, it has its own positive and negatives. And what we are hearing today about what's happening to the EV and in the US and in China. Frankly speaking, we spoke about that a long time ago. We said this is not going to work the way you guys want. It's number one, we are destructively not helping the environment. It's the opposite. We are destroying the environment when it comes, of course, to the uranium or other material from earth or mining. And I remember in Singapore in one conference, I said, you're making me feel like, guys, in one conference, I said, we are like this who was walking in the desert with a bag of water, and it has many holes in it. It doesn't make sense because you can't, do this all the time. You have to, I think, the bottom line, what we were looking, or many of people who understand industry processes, they were looking for, we need to have a clear understanding of where we want to be. It cannot be just eliminate because there is something else. There isn't something else. I cannot eliminate if there is no other factual things. And it's ongoing process. At this moment, I think we are in the right approach. We are in the right direction. And I think after COP28, there has been huge, as I would call it, alignment, where we, as UAE and many other countries, enforce the process that there is a way to handle the transformation in one hand, be it for CO2 or for energy transition. And you need to be careful how you address it, and you need to take your time and make sure it works. Because, as you know, people need to think about it's not the energy is the issue only, but the potential of this energy becoming forcefully forced into our throat, and it has no real factor. And I was talking to some people, which it shocked me because they thought EV means everything, and I said, yeah, but you need electricity to make the EV work. Oh, I said, where are you going to bring the electricity from? Then they tell me wind or sun, and I said, guys, I don't want to waste too much time because it's a sad thing what works in certain grouping. It's agendas process. Everybody has his own agenda and thinking, but they are thinking about the bigger picture. But it's unfortunate. But I think now we are on the right track. Hopefully, people will realize that we need to think before we start running. And we need also to rationalize our energy needs and how that could become part of our. It's need to be a solution, but solution cannot be eliminated. I always believe anyone who talks about elimination, then be careful. Don't listen to this person. So
True. Definitely, sir. Everything has to work together. Otherwise, only one solution.
absolutely, and it's a must. We need. Number one, the world has many places where it still need to grow. It's not acceptable that you tell in certain countries you cannot have a full-fledged growth processes. It's unacceptable. And when you look at these nations, they are, in reality, they are almost quarter of the world is where we're taking all their minerals and materials and everything from them and telling them, oh, by the way, you stay out of electricity. We can't have roads because it's against the environment. It's an interesting cycle, but you have to laugh because it has a lot of one-sided process.
Exactly.
And I hope the world we'll start thinking, no, we need to have a better platform to understand how this segment can be built for the future, because we all have the same intention, the same looking forward to the same thing. We want, human is one. You can't segregate human rights or human being or whatever. And you need to look at it that way. So let's look ahead.
Yes, true.
Thank you.
So, you were also instrumental in reviewing and updating the UAE maritime law. Can you tell us more about the what impact did that bring onto the maritime
Well,
industry in UAE?
yes, as you know, UAE had an old law that existed since inception, and from time to time, I guess regulation or laws have to be reviewed and updated or modified.
Yeah.
In today's environment, of course, we have to think ahead, and we have to think what makes sense for no longer, people have to think now big business, the global business cycle and how it's integrate, because synergizing of global industries is going to become the most critical thing. Everybody is going for a clustering process. Now, if you want a law that, and this is nothing to do with risk management. This is a factual law of international standard. If you want to go that route and you have the full cluster cycle, then you have to initiate what they call it integrated, laws mechanism that helps international and regional and local. So you have these three segments, and you have to think of them clearly: the national level, the regional level, and the international level. Of course, we tried hard to convince certain people of everything we tried to do. But in the end, the law came out. It's not, in many ways, I would say, how we dreamt it will be. But that's what managed. It's manageable. But I think sooner or later we have to keep pushing for the three segment processes, which is the national, regional, and international, and how to integrate them, and how to make also philosophically, we need to have a clear understanding of how asset transformation will happen. Because in today's environment, there are many segmented issues coming up when it comes to different sectors. And they all now have to rethink how this segmentation can be better understood, because laws in different countries has been also amended, but some of them took the environment side. If you look at the European laws, coastal laws, you're not allowed to have ships that steams with diesel or anything anymore. So you need more electrical processes. Ports, for that matter, how the port, when some ships, when they arrive to port, they have to eliminate any engine noise, for that matter, or engine fuel, and so on and so on. So you'll see many of these coming up. And this is all segmented processes in different places, different parts of the world. And you need now to integrate it, how that will work, because it's going to be expensive, I must admit, for the ship owners to keep every time trying to meet certain laws or mitigation. And that, of course, when things becomes expensive, in the end, the customer who pays for it is the household, in fact, people who uses it in the end. And these are important for us. Laws need to indicate this now, look into mitigation processes and how that can be also integrated and synergized. Well, and I'm not talking at a global level, it could be at regional level, national level, because we are part of an evolution of continuous change and transformation.
Okay, great, sir. So sustainability and climate change are two topics which are most often talked about in the maritime industry. So what exactly is KBI-uae doing to help others to understand about this particular agenda, and what are the any kind of developments that have been happening from your end to make people understand that climate change is actually an important issue?
There is a lot happening, because in a climate change environment, of course, the first one has been the fuel. The second one was, the exhaust, what you're going to do with emission. The third one, in reality, which is more important as I see it, is the speed and consumption.
Okay.
And in that case, technology is in many places, Japan has it now, where they are able to reduce consumption by 50%. And these are important undertaking, and I think we should encourage engineering know-how and technologies to be at the forefront to give us better, utility process, which include consumption, speed, how is that going to work? It's important to know that in today's environment also, even the paint of the vessel itself, the hull, has been very, very much advancing. And these are important things, because we need always to think ahead. And we are working with different groups, in fact, on how we can mitigate certain problems as we see it today. The question is, we all know as a fact, the combustion engine since inception stayed the same. It's really, you're still using the combustion engine. Can you modify it to another engine? The question is difficult, because A rotary engine came. Unfortunately, it did not transpire. But the fuel, and there are many different fuels you see in today. They call it green fuel, which is green energy and all this. But the question is, they're hiding the question, how did they process that? There is a lot of energy used to produce this. You know, why would people change tremendously when the real bottom line is still there? There is your emission is here, but it's not here. So, okay, my emission is not there; it's here. So it's a question, and therefore, I think everybody now have to be to wear a different hat. A hat of fairness in one hand and logic in the other, because there is no logic at this moment. When you hear people talking, you just say, "My God, where are we going?" And too many unprofessional people dealing with professional things, and they are taking their own segment and trying to integrate it into a professional environment where it doesn't work. So I'm saying with that, we are looking at different shipping, different logistic cycles, and technology, of course, will help. AI is helping a lot. The skill set of people, I must admire, has been very, very effective, because now you find a lot of newcomers with a lot of know-how and skill set. And this will add a lot, because you're no longer training for seafarer process. You have to train for technology process. So it's quite an interesting change from a historical thing. But nevertheless, it's a belief. There is a huge change, and this change will be led, in my view, by us, Middle East, Asia, Africa. The most important thing to know, if you look ahead at the economy cycle, the growth, the biggest growth comes in this region and Africa. And there is two reasons for that. One is the energy cycle, which is both oil and gas and solar. So you have both. And the second part is opportunity to develop. Africa needs a lot of development and a lot of growth. So it needs energy, it needs port, it needs logistic, it needs roads, everything and infrastructure processes. So therefore, these are, for a businessman, these are a structured thing. Then you have India, for that matter, and then you have the Far East, and how that can be integrated. I know everybody thinks of integration to East, to the West, but the trend at this moment, we are reaching, we already mastermind the West to East move. That's happened. It's transformed of economy. Now you're going to have north to south, and you have to be part of that, because that's what will happen. And this will happen in the coming, it's already started, but it will take X number of years. And many people is thinking of it. For that matter, even businessmen who in the US and Europe and all of this, they are really, we are indulged with them with a lot of discussion about how this transformation will happen. And these are just part of the world economy, how it will recirculate and how will it grow. So economy-wise, energy-wise, that's, if you have those both things, you're the next master of the world.
So that's quite interesting. So you talked about think tank before, just in a brief, but can you explain more about the activities that that organization undertakes?
In general, I think look, we have a number of organizations where they all focused on the energy cycle, in the logistics, which is part of it, of course, the shipping, the ports, and all of that. But the oil industry and the energy industry, in our view, will remains at the highest umbrella of everything, because there is no way you can grow an economy without energy. And even the concept of today, I have personally have a different concept. don't build the port before you have the ship. When you have the ship, start building the port, because it's an infrastructure. If you don't have the usage of it is critical. So first take the ship and then build the port. It's easy to build a port, but it's difficult to get the ship. So therefore, infrastructure alignment and infrastructure, we have to go to the new wave of infrastructure. There is a huge transformation into the technology where there is everything now smart technology. And of course, you have to do that because you're saving a lot of money in one hand. In the second, you're speeding up the process, which is a critical part of handling any material. And the third one, of course, you're having a real documentation live online. It's not a process of, so these are segments which we've been looking at. And in our view, smart cities, smart logistics, smart ports, smart even shipbuilding, ship repair, all of these things is becoming now what to be, because you need to reduce energy and reduce your consumption and reduce your emission. So you're getting all these clear things under this umbrella. And it's quite a phenomenal process and strategy where, we built a huge mammoth, in fact, strategy around these concepts and how these concepts can work. And it's easy to work. It's not difficult because technology exists, know-how exists, skill set exists. All you need now is to say, okay, here, this is what I want to do. And we are helping certain countries and certain companies with advice and giving them the help also in how this will be affecting their future needs, whether from an energy standpoint, economy standpoint, or even financial standpoint. And these are important. We need to be more, as you call it, there has been a lot of discussion about regional knowledge base rather than bringing a consultant from overseas or expertise. But how do they know the regional know-how, skill set, and the environment they are going to operate in? And these are part of that, where hopefully we are helping certain countries with based on their environments, based on factual environment rather than hearsay, and this will help a lot.
That's fascinating. Since you have been a part of maritime industry and you've seen a lot of transformation, what technology are you most excited about in the coming years?
I think always see one of my real thought processes is in a transformation of technology. I always admire when things can be, you eliminate something, but create something. And the reason why technologies on today's, like, let's say, fabrication, it's a huge sea that you could almost fabricate anything you want. And this is when we thought about transforming the oil industry technology into the urban. We were shocked because it meets all the requirements that I need. I no longer need to worry about coastline polluted by industrial bases. Okay. In fact, that land became now worth millions of dirhams. And before, because I had industrial base, it's not worth even one dirham. But I have an industry that moved offshore, but it became an icon. Imagine some of these designs looked like an alien ship landing in the sea. Yeah, you look at it, you get impressive, and the designers totally innovated. That's what made it really beautiful, because they just run with it, and all designs and everything, and it has a zero environmental impact.
Oh,
and that's a critical thing. That is actually a critical thing. and this is what we're talking about. You just need to think, and you can actually impact the environment positively. Now, I'll tell you one thing. Where is the best fish in the world, do you think?
Okay.
No. The best fish in the world with huge amounts is actually exist underneath an oil platform.
Oh,
Okay?
okay.
Imagine an oil platform, the best fish you can find in it, the best fish, and an abundant of fish.
Oh,
Okay. So imagine if you transform, this is where the technology we're using, where this technology actually will impact the environment positively, i.e., there'll be a living creatures under the sea. Again, you actually. So these are the ideas of innovation. These are the ideas of sustainability, and the idea of creativity also for the future, where you not only producing water, but creating a mammoth of things around what you just developed. You are creating life, as we call
wow.
it. Okay.
That's a fascinating insight. Never knew that best of fishes they survive under oil platforms. Never knew.
Absolutely. When you have an oil platform, you have a living sea.
Oh,
That's the truth.
that's fascinating. So coming to some lighter questions, how do you maintain your work-life balance when you have such a demanding career? And what are what are your interests and passions outside of?
In many cases, I like to relax a lot by just having my time to walk around and think ahead. And I like to look at things differently than many people in certain cases. I like my own space, I must admit. But the most important thing is that you have teams with you that helps you to accommodate all different areas. And that's a great thing because building a team quite a hard things to do.
Sure,
I'm
absolutely.
I'm blessed in many ways. I've been able to create in every segment or everything a team of great individuals. We work as one. We take the pride in our work. We take pride in our success. And most of all, if not all, we like to always converse with new knowledge. We don't want to talk about past. We want to talk about future.
Future.
And we want also to eliminate, just like many other people, but we would like to create a lot of synergies and a lot of dimension of growth around our region, not only in Dubai or the UAE, but around our region. And I think that's important because this is where you as a human need to look ahead with what can I offer. It's a cycle of time is important, but as I said, when you have the right people with you, the right team, you can really manage your timing and processes. And the one of the things which is important also in today's environment, unfortunately, we work in almost 24 hours. 300 because you got everything in your telephone, and everybody is can reach you anytime, send you a message.
Exactly.
So you no longer have to be in one place. You could be anywhere and you're still working. So, but that's a blessing, disguise.
But somehow that spills over, no? Your professional life and your personal life, they get spill over each other because
Yeah,
there are no boundaries as such.
absolutely. In some cases, can be, but you have to manage these things based on in today's environment. You can't just drop everything and run.
Yes.
You can't. So people with you, you'll always your family or your friends, they'll always understand there is time for this, time for that, and it's very easy to make this timing because we're living in a world where it has different hours and different people ahead of us, people behind us. So you could manage it easily. You don't have to be on the same hours, but that's important. Yeah, this is why we always have time when it's a Far East process. We know when we're going to start, then we have X number of hours, peace of
Yes.
mind, and vice versa. From the West, then we know X hours, but we manage in it. And but of course, people time and also to relax is important. But you can relax without being out of station, as they call it. This is important.
True. 100%.
Thank you.
His Excellency, coming to our final question, what advice would you like to give our aspiring leaders in the maritime industry?
I think they all need to look behind the shade that is presented to them from time to time. Technology is quite an impressive phenomena, but it's not the final goal. I think people need still to think about, how to look back and see the best practices and see the best developments, because we are in a change environment rather than anything else. And by change, I mean future has a lot of impressive potentials in the shipping industry, in the logistics, in many other sectors, which include energy. And I think our young people need to study engineering for a fact. They need to study also management for a fact, because we need to be careful how we manage. We tend to misunderstand management skill sets and the required to management. And we need to also to take care of ourselves when it comes to training, and I know Aries is one of them, and other Emirates and all this. They do a lot of training processes and developments. And this is important because once you have that segment of knowledge sharing part of the training, and I think it's important. They should listen to people who's been there in the industry. They should at least try to understand the cycle of the industry and how it is. Sometimes the industry goes down, sometimes goes up. It's just a normal life. But in the end of the day, I will encourage them to look into technology side, engineering side, and the management side. These are segments that cannot be eliminated. Whatever they tell you, these are segments of core value for any industry, for that matter.
Thank you, His Excellency, for that wonderful piece of advice. We are
Thank you.
grateful that you took time off your busy schedule to be here with us today, to share
No
your
problem.
inspiring journey with our audience. So it was wonderful speaking to you today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for your time. And I salute you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, His Excellency. We learned a lot. It was fabulous interview. It was great experience to know more about you, from the schooling to your travel to UK with for graduation with a scholarship from ADNOC, and how that helped you to develop yourself, to think big, think in advance, and how you grabbed all those opportunities that you got from the organizations you worked, and how you explored the world, especially the marine world, the logistics side of it. Oh my God, it was great knowing all these. And it was really interesting to hear about your experience of doing big world class projects, world record projects with many countries like US, UK, Russia, and all. And the most inspiring thing was how you look into the problems, and how you solve it, and how you come out of it with huge success.
Thank
So actually we learned a lot. There was a lot to learn from your answers. And I liked one of your quote that don't build a port before you have a ship, which
That's
is very, yeah, but which is very important. And I think which is very much applicable in every small step we take, as it reminds us the importance of thinking before we leave. So, oh my God, you shared us a lot. Thank you so much for sharing all those experiences, your takes on innovation, technology,
Thank you.
sustainability, etc. Thanks,
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
for
much for
giving me the
joining us.
time,
Yeah.
and it's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you so much. See you
Thank you.
again in near future.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Inshallah.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
rest of the day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.